If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today is July 16, 2020, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the euro breaking above 114, trading at this major level right before this economic event later today. So let's take a look at the economic events of the day. So we're going to be starting out at 1:45 South African time out of the European Union. It's a main refinancing rate, which is pretty much an interest rate that's coming out. Now that's going to be followed at 2:30 South African time with a press conference. And this is a major refinancing rate, especially since we're in light of this pandemic situation. Now looking at 2:30 South African time simultaneously, we have out of the United States monthly retail sales. Now production numbers were up in June, so we're looking for a decent number. The markets are still, on their upper end, okay? Trading yesterday as high as 27,000 on the Dow. Now looking at the various markets, we're going to start out with the currencies. US dollar continues to weaken versus the euro, the Aussie dollar, but remains strong versus the GBP. Wondering if that's going to set up a situation where we're going to be catching up to some of these stronger currencies. Now looking at the Dow Jones, it retraces just a little bit yesterday, didn't fill in the gap, but could happen today. We're going to take a look at that as well. Now looking at the commodities, oil gives up the gains while gold is pretty much unchanged. And lastly, looking at the stocks, the FANG stocks were the ones that sold off the most yesterday, including Amazon. Okay, that was the one that carried us higher and also, sold off. JP Morgan remains up on the day. Question is can it sustain itself? All right, so we're going to take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trade. Okay, so we're looking here at the Euro USD at a daily chart. You could see, and pretty much you could see that we're at this 114-ish level. Okay, now right after the pandemic, or right before the pandemic, we hit 114.40-ish level. We challenged it yesterday once again, and we challenged close to it once before in the middle of June. So ultimately, okay, with this number coming out, all right, couple of scenarios that you might want to consider going into today's trading is that if we break above this 114.41 and sustain it, okay, it could be a major breakout. Remember, this is a daily, okay? Now, if we do retrace, this is the level to really retrace because it is at the upper limit of this range. Now, looking at a weekly chart, this would mean if we do break this up above 114.60-ish level, this would mean we'd be going back to January of 2019, almost a year and a half ago, really, since we've hit these type of levels. Now, this conceivably can happen because the dollar is getting weaker, so keep this in mind later today. Now, looking at the GBP USD, not the same story, okay? Trading closer to its bottom range here, okay, where I would have expected it to trade higher, okay? It did not, so something to consider looking at that. Now, comparatively, if we look at the Aussie dollar, it's almost back to its pre-level of December 2019. So the euro and the Aussie are pretty much the ones that are stronger versus the USD, and we may see that catch up on the GBP, but we are at resistance-ish level. Earlier this morning, we had an unemployment rate from the Australian dollar, so that, you could pretty much see that it was pretty much an unchanged day this morning, but we hit that 70-ish level, okay, which is a resistant-ish level as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, looking at the Rand, okay, we've been watching this and been mentioning it several times. It's just continuing to trickle down. It doesn't give it to you all in one shot, but remember, 1644 is your support level. So if it does break that, if the dollar does break this, the Rand could get stronger all the way down to 15-ish level. Okay, so that's an important thing to keep on your radar. Now, jumping into gold, pretty much unchanged here at 1808. Okay, at this resistance-ish level, trading in this tight range between 1800 or really 1797 and 1811-ish level. Okay, so keep that in mind as we do find ourselves trading within a range, and then we break out, and then we trade in a range, and then we break out. It's not going to all happen at one time, so you do want to keep this on your radar. And looking at oil, yesterday we hit $41 a barrel. Okay, and this was a nice little rally, but it gave it up. Okay, but I would like to see some sort of sustaining here because everybody's really questioning whether we're going to go back into lockdowns. I know in South Africa the numbers are starting to pick up again. So with that said, you got to really keep your nose to the news, okay? Just understanding where we're going to have the lockdowns, which countries are going to go into lockdown again, and then that's going to probably reap some havoc on the oil markets and the equity markets as well. Now, looking at the Dow Jones yesterday, okay, we're trading right now at 26,671-ish. Now, we hit a high of 27,080-ish level yesterday, okay, after giving up those gains that we had. Now, ostensibly, is this considered a fill in the gap? No, okay, it's considered a gap. So with that said, if we do break this 26,600-ish level, we could see it making a correction on the downside. Usually gap kind of trading like we have right here, usually is a gap and go. It looked like it was going to do that, but then it gave it up, okay, at 27,000-ish level. And the bears came in and forced the index further down. Now, if we look at a daily, however, this is the first time we've hit this area since we made the correction in June. Okay, so with that said, we may find ourselves at the upper limit here. Okay, trading closer to this 27,000-ish level. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, also we sold off yesterday to 10,600. That's reflective of the stocks. Major one that sold off is Amazon. Look at that. Okay, over the past couple of days, Amazon has sold off 300 points. But remember, this thing has been up almost twice, okay, since March 18th. So with that said, it's understandable. The question is whether we're going to get to an opportunity will challenge this 3,300 again. And that might still happen in August time, okay, or towards the end of July. If that does happen. Now, looking at JP Morgan, gave it up, okay? Even though we gapped up yesterday, it did give it up, and we're trading at 99.62. So, you know, ultimately, this is still weak, okay? The fact that we rallied here, I'd like to see what happens the next few days to really give me some sort of conviction in it. Now, next week, Microsoft is coming out with earning reports. That's an important one. Intel also coming up with earning reports. So things are still trickling in. American Airlines also coming in with earning reports and, you know, what they're going to do with their employees. This is really, you know, modern day is not really accustomed for, you know, something like a pandemic. Okay. I don't think anybody could have anticipated it besides Bill Gates. But this is really causing some havocs on the markets and should continue to cause havocs on the markets as well. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.